As we close out 2025 and head into 2026, it can be really beneficial to take a look at your finances, think about your goals for the next year. So for a little help on that, I'm joined virtually by Andrew Nemes, financial advisor for Nemes Rush Family Wealth Management. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us here tonight on Evening Plus. I'm sure you've heard it before. This isn't exactly what everyone wants to be talking about right now, but it's so crucial to kind of make that year-to-year transition, thinking about finances and your goals. Talk to us a little bit about some topics that are key to be thinking about in the coming month or so.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And you're totally right. December is a tough month to talk about it because I'm sure everyone purchased their presents or are, buying them or buying plane tickets and, it's tough. But as January comes, there are a few things you want to focus on and a couple to get done before 12/31. A lot of it's New Year stuff, but for example, if you're 70 and up, then there's a chance, usually 73, depending on when you were born, 73 or 75, you're required to start taking money out of your IRA. And if you miss that, there are tax penalties. So not only do you get ordinary income tax when you take it out, but you'd also be penalized. So if you are in that age range, 73 and up, it's important to know how much your RMD is. Have I taken it out this year? And maybe you covered it earlier, from other distributions if you're living off it and fully retired. So that's very important. And then one more thing that's 12/31 is if you have a brokerage account and you have gains in that account, let's say you sold a little bit of Nvidia or Apple or anything, any fund, and you have some capital gains. Well, it's nice if you have any stocks that are at a loss in that portfolio, it would be nice to sell those if you're not attached to them, or if you want to sell them and buy a fund instead. That way you can realize those losses and offset it against those gains, which are going to be taxed in the top bracket, 23.8% plus state tax.
Yeah, and so those are things that folks want to be thinking about, in the next few days before all of a sudden it's Christmas, day after Christmas. Assessing that potentially this weekend could be really great to have everything squared away. Something, of course, that is a little up in the air right now, spending habits. So many of us are spending a bit more than compared to the rest of the months of the year, during December and January. But as far as folks kind of getting back on track or making sure that things don't go too overboard in the coming weeks, what do you recommend there?
Yeah, so the first thing is no matter what I say on how to budget XYZ, these credit cards always let people get points, lets them push off the payments, but in the end, the bank records don't lie. So the best thing to do is categorize your spending into housing, gas, education, whatever you spend your money on monthly. Try to get a handle on what that is, and you can really find that out from your bank. You can get the specifics from your card, but it's hard to know exactly how much you're spending on your cards, especially if you have separate bank accounts. So it's nice if you just go back over the last 6 or 7 months, those one-time purchases that aren't really one time show up better when you look at your bank because that's the money that's really going out. So I'd say start with categorizing big ticket items first and move on down from there.
Yeah, something that's important to be thinking about all times of year, but this one especially. Something as far as estate planning. Again, I realize that isn't exactly what we want to be talking about during the holiday times, but it's so important if the unexpected were to happen to be taking an updated check at what you have in your wishes.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend having a will and trust, first of all. That just tells everyone, tells the lawyers, tells your family who gets how much and when, right? So that's a good thing to have in general. But something else, a trust is great. But if you haven't updated your beneficiaries on your 401k at work or your IRA or any financial account you have, life insurance policy, for example, then that actually trumps your trust in court. So if you forgot about an old 401k and you have an ex-husband or ex-wife on it, and you're newly married and you forgot to update the beneficiary, your ex is going to get that account and there's nothing you can do about it. Even if your trust says, I want my current wife and our kids to have the money. If you forgot to update that, then you're going to be in big trouble. So it's important to review everything. Once you have a clean slate, anytime you create a new account, it's nice to just hit a checklist of who are the beneficiaries, who do I want to get this, either my spouse and then, contingent beneficiary as the trust.
Absolutely. All right, Andrew, that is going to do it for us tonight. We so appreciate you joining us virtually, walking us through these couple of really important things to just at least be taking a peek at to review before we begin the new year. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I know we had a lot of heavy news on Evening Plus tonight.